Pull the plunge. Is that the expression?
Take the plunge.
Take the plunge.
Pull the plug. There's your blooper. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining in. So for today's interview, I'm really excited because I have Jennifer here from World on a Whim blog.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So your focus is spontaneous travel.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
Traveling on a whim, which is World on a Whim, and just going for it, just having fun. Mm-hmm. But there are some key things that you need to know before you actually just jet off. And I'm sure you could do that and learn along the way, but I think in order to have the best possible time traveling spontaneously, there are a few things that you can plan to make sure that you're just having the perfect trip.
Yeah, because you don't want to end up like in a dangerous situation. I'll just fly and then I'll meet random people.
Yeah.
But
most of the time it works out, but you don't want to have that one time that
exactly.
It doesn't.
You didn't hear it from her.
No. Exactly.
So going into like a spontaneous travel trip, where do you start? Because you do planning.
Yes. So my tagline of my blog is The Perfectionist Guide to Spontaneous Travel. So basically, I plan a lot for a spontaneous trip, which obviously it's very conflicting. It's a contrast, but it's something that you need to do to ensure that, you have the best possible time. Yeah. So in order to plan, first you want to kind of take a look at 3 different things. So are your family and friends traveling at the same time and around the same kind of area that you are planning on being? Are there any cultural events or music festivals or any type of event that you really want to attend while you're abroad? And then the other thing is there just a place that you've really been wanting to go to, or a landmark or a national park or whatever it may be? You want to kind of do that initial research, and that's kind of how you start the planning.
Okay, so then you have the things that you want to see.
Yes.
How do you go about like booking a flight or a hotel, or do you just like leave that as well?
Okay, so accommodations are pretty easy. There's Hostel World for hostels, which is a great booking site. I use that my entire life. And I go on the site, I click the filter, so the ranking of the hostel rating is at the highest, and then I see, price wise and rating wise and location wise what's a good fit. And you can book that like the night before if you need to.
Wow, that's cool.
It is. Airbnb, have you stayed as an Airbnb?
I have, yeah. Actually, I just did last week. So
it's great, right?
Yeah,
and
it's fantastic.
So that's also very easy to book. It's so prevalent now. There's Airbnb everywhere. You can also book that the night before. And then, of course, a hotel if you're a couple or, if you just want a little bit more luxury. So the accommodation is very easy. Flights and transportation, that's obviously a little bit trickier. So you definitely have to, plan that more in advance. Yeah. And the best thing to do is kind of, once you decide on what countries you're debating on traveling to, look up what's the best mode of transport for that country. Is it best to travel by train, or is the bus the cheapest if you're on a budget, or are there a bunch of cheap airline hubs with a lot of budget airlines like London, for example? There's 4 airports in London, and there's a bunch of budget airlines like EasyJet that fly out of there. So that's always a great port if you're in Europe.
So then, like, what's the best thing you found like off the beaten path that you didn't quite expect?
Travel wise, or like
in life.
Yeah. Actually, okay, so my favorite festival in the entire world is called La Merced. It's in Barcelona. It's a festival of the patron saint of Barcelona. And I had just come back from a weekend in Ibiza, which is the craziest party island in like the entire world, and had some crazy nights. Show up back in Barcelona where I'm studying abroad, and there was this fire parade in the streets with hundreds of thousands of people dressed as giants and beasts and dragons and throwing firecrackers all around the streets, and we had no idea what was going on. I was with a couple of friends at the time. Turns out it's this event during La Merced called the Corafok, which is a fire run. That's like what it directly translates to. And it's so cool, and I try and go back every year if I can, because they don't do that. You can't do that in the United States.
Yeah.
Like, that's illegal.
It's crazy there. It's like
they're crazy.
Bull runs and fire.
Exactly. Yes. All of the above.
So go to Spain.
Go to Spain. Definitely go to Spain. I've lived there for 2 years, so I'm a huge advocate of Spain. But yes, go for La Marseille in September.
When you start looking into a trip, how far in advance do you decide on the destination, start looking into details, and then like actually book things?
So I have probably 50 things on my bucket list of places that I want to go. So I've known for years where I want to go. And then I start seriously thinking about it probably 4 to 5 months. And then actually going for it, a lot of times it's like a week or two before, which drives everyone I know absolutely insane because they, one, think I'm crazy, two, they just get so stressed out for me. But it always works out in the end.
Yeah.
So, and if it doesn't, it's a fun, crazy roller coaster ride. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's part of life. That's the adventure. That's
like
the experience.
Dating. The worse it is, the better the story.
Exactly.
Okay, so with your travel blog, what can people expect to find on there? Like what kind of articles?
So I have a lot of guides to cities, which I guess a lot of travel bloggers have, but I will only do guides to cities that I've lived in. I think that you can't really give a guide unless you've lived in the city and really experienced it. And then I'll do itineraries for places that I visited. So I think that's kind of like the difference.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you what I did and what I recommend. But I'm not going to give you a full ultimate city guide with restaurants, with things to do, with nightlife when I've been there for 4 days. That doesn't really sit well with me.
That's really smart.
Yeah, so I have guides of cities I've lived in and then a bunch of itineraries. I have also Europe itineraries. So for if you're planning on going, I do for a month in July, in August and September, I'll do, based on like the festivals, the cultural music festivals that are going on, I have a specific itinerary for that. And then I do one for like the fall season, the winter season, the spring season. And then I also have all my travel mishap stories with all the
which are very fun from the few that I've heard today.
Yes, there's a lot of them and they're all on there because I want to share the crazy experiences that you can have. And I mean, now we're all laughing about it. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and telling us some of your exciting travel stories and giving us a little bit of insight into spontaneous travel.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun.
I'm going to go ahead and include all of her information below so that you guys can check out World on a Whim blog. We will see you later. We're going to go adventure.
Yeah. Bye.